Can you tell the people about your book?
Oh, most definitely. Folks, here's what we're talking about. The basics of what you're getting with the pill method. All right. And if you're seeing this on screen, all right, you want to go to ice10k.com. Take a look at the book. All right. And there's a button that says get the pill method book. Once you get the book, you're going to understand the basics of interest cancellation, what the banks have been doing to us for the last 88 years. You'd realize that this is the 88th anniversary of the 30-year loan. Not many people know that. We've only been doing this thing for 88 years, and virtually no one understands how it works. I've been asking this question for 16 years. How many people actually understand how an amortization schedule works and how to defeat it? Oh my gosh. If we knew how to read this thing, we could cut our interest costs tremendously. But when we plug an opportunity cost calculator into it, we can narrow this thing down so that we can know exactly how much money to save. Then out of that savings account, how much money should we take out of that savings account? Which month to take it out, and then which month to apply that money, how much money to take out, what month to apply it in, what day of the month to apply it on, and which loan to attack so that you can save the most amount of money per dollar applied. Now, here's the thing, folks. If you want to get out of debt, do you want to save some interest, or do you want to save the maximum amount of interest that is possible for you? Can I give you a quick example of what I'm talking about here? Here's what I mean. I had a client who was on the program and they were used to paying off their credit cards every single month. But our computer program was having them to ignore the $1,200 they owe on their credit card at 12%. Their mortgage was at 4%. They said, oh my goodness, we've never carried a balance of $1,200 on our credit card. We always pay it off. Okay. So now here's what we're talking about. So if they pay that off, then they would feel better. Okay. So they called me and says, Don, there's something wrong with the program. We've got $1,200 here on the credit card. The program is having us to ignore it to carry that balance forward to the next month. So we'll have to pay interest. And I said, oh, well, let's take a look at it. Let's do a little math. I ask my clients, did you realize that 12% APR, 12% a year really means 1% a month? What? Yeah, it's 1% a month. You add it up, it becomes 12% for the year. I said, well, we didn't realize that. I said, okay, so you're being charged 1% of $1,200. So here's my thing. If you pay it off this month, how much money are you saving if you pay off that loan today? So listen, I'm going to put something else up on the screen. We need to put this on the screen, this 4% loan. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's put the 4% loan on the screen. So now we're looking at this, and I told him, I said, listen, if you pay that 12% credit card off and you owe $1,200, how much would you save? They did the math and says, we would save $12. Is that all? It was going to only cost us $12. We were freaking out because it said 12%, but we were freaking out about $12 because we're only going to be charged 1% that month on what we owe. They didn't realize that before. So they pay it off. They're going to save $12 in interest. And I pointed out that if this is your mortgage here and you pay off and you put $1,200, here's cumulative principal. All right, here's 1,000, here's 1,500 here. So if you put $1,200 down, you're going to save in excess of $2,000 in interest you will not have to pay on your mortgage. So here's what we're trying to say, folks. At the beginning of the show, we talked about that we think anything we do to get out of debt is as good as any other thing we can do to get out of debt. So if we pay off the 12% credit card, we'll save $12. But if we put that $1,200 on the mortgage, we'll save over $8,000 in interest. So here's my question. Is it true that anything you do to get out of debt is as good as any other thing you can do to get out of debt?
No, teacher, no.
No, no, not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. So, folks, here's what we need to do. We need to start doing math. This is what our computer program does, is that it does all of the math for you and lets you know when to do and what to do, how much to pay, what month to do it in, what day of the month to do it on. Listen, there's so much going on here that we miss the boat. This is why it will never pay off our loans. Number one, even if we're trying, we're paying the wrong amount on the wrong loan in the wrong month on the wrong day of the month. And we end up paying way more interest than we need to. So the more interest you pay, the longer you stay in debt. Okay? The less interest you pay, you get out of debt faster. So it's not about how much you borrow, folks. It's about how much interest you pay. So let's find out the best way to save that interest. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What's going on here? Listen, if you've never heard that before, if you've never heard that kind of thing before, if you thought that you had to pay off your 12% credit card to save money and found out that no one has ever pointed out to you that you are only saving a tiny interest cost by doing that. And you could have leveraged that money to save $1,000 or $2,000 on your mortgage, even though it was 4%. Oh my goodness. We need to start looking at our money in a different way.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.